Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Echo. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, then you can get it for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that made this game and are making other games, then you can go to Patreon, or it's $3 a month. So, on the last Let's Play, Duke came over here where he, described that things are going crazy and we're here, so that he can protect us kinda, but also to interrogate us, because he's just trying to figure out what's going on, just like in the Leo's route. And he left, where we're left alone with Brian here, who was teasing us a bit, and then puts our bat friend Micah into a noose that has razor blades on the outside of it. So if he tries to grab through the noose, he cuts his fingers. But now, he's turning his attention towards us. We had to double back a little bit because we were at like 38 minutes. And it was like, we'll just keep, it's another thing. So yeah, so reset my face. And begin. Hey, don't think I forgot about you all. When I open my eyes again, he's looking directly at me. Well, you two at least. I mean, given the choice of a bunch of guys and one girl, what kind of queer would pick the girly? He says the word queer with distaste, the bear beginning to reach into his little satchel. He looks to Jenna as he pulls out what looks like a long spool of string. The others tell me you were a bit of a bitch anyway. Okay, we're past 1 minute mark. At least, that's what your brother said. I keep expecting Jenna to start speaking, talking him down, full psychoanalysis modes, like in all those thriller movies. Like all those, But right now, she's completely silent. Leo stirs slightly beside me, mumbling something incoherent. Brian has scissors now, and kneels down in front of us. I begin to feel faint as he points the edge of them towards me with a smile. Instead of cutting me, he begins snipping along the side of my shorts and underwear, cutting up to the waistband. What are you doing? Micah teeters in the kitchen, letting out a blubbering, choking sound as he struggles for breath. Saw you a few weeks ago. You had no eyes. Heard you talking to that empty rail yard, saying that you two need to stay close. Thinking I should oblige that request. What? The eyeless chase, the thing we saw earlier? Leo stirs as I shout, shifting slightly as Brian does the same to his pant leg. Don't worry, I won't get your bits out. He reaches into his little medical bag and pulls out a suturing needle. I think you're supposed to shave fur before you start doing this, but oh well. No, please, you don't need to do this. The thing you saw, it wasn't me. I've seen it too. Brian blinks, canting his head slightly. Well, I figured as much. That he wasn't real. You still have your eyes now. And that's goatee. He's pushing our legs together now. My heart feels like it's in my throat. My vision starts to blur. Don't squirm now, or it turns to joint breaking time. And I can't always stitch the other things together. Oh God, no. The needle hits me first, at my mid-thigh. I cry out, squeezing my fists against my chest. I want to deck him, punch him, do anything to make him stop. I yell so loud, I slobber into the front of my shirt, tears once again well in my eyes. I can feel the metal pierce through my skin, far too deep as it tears through my muscle and tugs it back out again. Leo begins to rise slightly as it goes through his leg, though he doesn't wake. That's one. Stop! I start to feel faint as blood pools from the new holes in my thigh, though the needle through Through the needle re-entering promptly wakes me back up. Fuck! 2. Stop. Jenna speaks from the corner of the room, her voice unlike I've ever heard it before. Quiet. So much so that I don't know if Brian even heard her. 3. Micah gasps, wobbling erratically as blood drips from his left hand. He must have gripped the rope for a second and cut himself. Don't fall, kid. Brian calls to Micah before looking back. He has a lurid gaze as he stares directly into my eyes, pushing the needle in again. So deep, I'm sure it scrapes the bone, and it's like my whole body has been lit on fire. Snot dribbles down my nose. I can't fucking take it anymore. Brian keeps counting. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Leo's writhing has gotten more intense, and each tug of his leg spreads the puncture wounds more. I can't take it. Something begins to move in the corner of the room, in the closet beside the bedroom. I can't tell if it's just my blurred vision, or whether the door is actually opening. In the kitchen, the stool tips over, and Micah is suddenly dangling freely. Oh God! More choked gurgles escape the increasingly red-faced bat. His arms begin to flail, wildly at first, then in a more coordinated rhythm. It takes me a moment to realize he's batting his wings. He flaps as hard as he can, and, faintly, it looks like he manages to get a gulp of air. His hovering is erratic, even enough to keep him completely suspended, or never enough. Brian peers over his shoulder, eyebrows raised slightly. Help him! Brian ignores her. Would you look at that? He can fly. The exertion is clearly taxing Micah, and he's still having trouble breathing. His face continues to turn an unnatural hue. He can't keep this up. Help him! Out of the corner of my eye, the closet door shifts open further. There's something inside. Someone. They're a reddish-white color, half choked in shadow. Eyes wide, mouth open. It moves like there's a strobe light behind it. Its motions choppy and unnatural. It's like it's not moving at all, but rather a series of imagined images projected in front of my eyes, changing every second. And each second it gets closer. It looks like it's as tall as Brian, impossibly slender, with arms and legs that look dwarfed and burnt. It has no eyes, no mouth, just holes. Next thing I know, it's in the kitchen, and Micah just drops. The bat hits the floor with a heavy thud, the cut noose around his neck. Brian sees it now too. He reels back, just as it begins to approach him. They're real! Is all he can say before the bear is yanked about with immense violent force, his body bending like a flicked rubber band. The contents of his pockets, one of his pant legs, and a small chunk of flesh smack against the kitchen wall. The rest of him goes flying out the window, along with the figure. My mind immediately thinks back to when I was a kid. I've seen plenty of stuff, lots of horrible things. But the psychiatrist had said that was just normal, that some kids hallucinate. Not like this, though. There's glass scattered across the stained carpet. Bloodstains, drapple, and turquoise polka-dotted drapes swaying slightly with the new breeze that comes through the broken window. This is real, right? Past all reasonable doubt, it has to be. The shock of the situation had eclipsed the pain in my leg, enough that brief respite fades quickly, or though that brief respite. It's wretched and niggling, like being stung by 20 bees every couple seconds. Rivulets of Leo and I's blood pool together and runs between the connected thighs. I writhe against my restraints, my head spinning and heart pounding. Every base animalistic neuron in my brain is firing to flee the situation, to make the throbbing stop, and to just find safety. But there's nothing I can do but gasp for breath, one eye on the window and the other on the struggling, bleeding silhouette of Micah. My vision blurs. When it refocuses, the bat is up on his knees, yellow eyes wide and bloodshot. He says something, his voice high-pitched, quaking, utterly indiscernible, at least to me right now. He scrambles on his hands and knees, coughing and wheezing, while yanking open several of Brian's kitchen drawers. Dirty silverware-looking utensils and faded yellow receipts shower the floor. The ruckus is immense. I'm sure the thing outside hears it. That is, if it's even capable of hearing. He pulls another drawer completely out of its socket, and an assortment of bottle openers, chip clips, and twist ties scatters forth. You gotta keep your chip clips and twist ties. Panting out ragged breaths, his fingers grab something glittering in silver from the new pile. His eyes widen. Keys. For a moment, his gaze trails to the door, then back to us. He coughs again, swearing some obscenity that I can't fully make out. Scampering along the kitchen, from the kitchen to the other side of the room, he begins using the keys on Jenna's restraint. There's a satisfying click, and I can hear Jenna gasp. "Thank you," she whispers. Micah wastes no time, moving back to my sightline for a moment to reach Leo beside me. "You..." Leo moans, seemingly aware of the bat's presence, as a large paw reaches out to touch the bat's soft mane of white fur. Micah stops for a moment, blinking some, and he's still definitely out of it, wolf. Leo's arm goes limp again, the bat exhaling a coarse breath, trying to steady his own shaking hand, so that he can unlock the wolf's restraint. Jenna quickly heads to the kitchen, grabbing a knife from the torn-out cutlery drawer. "I'll get you out of this in a sec. Just don't squirm, okay?" She looks at me, her turquoise eyes wide and glistening. "I'll be fine." Leo mutters. Jenna doesn't even look at him as she brings the blade between her thighs. With a little slice, she manages to cut through the first stitch, and the flesh runnel of blood leaks from the puncture points. It's as if the wound is hissing at me, my ears ringing as I clutch my fists against my chest. "Don't scream, don't scream." I whimper as the knife nicks the second, but doesn't quite break the string. Instead, it tugs up the winding, piercing, and tearing at my skin. Leo stirs, his fist clenching as his half-lidded eyes try to focus on Jenna. He bares his fangs briefly, trying to stand up. This pulls harder on the stitching, and I can't tell what will give first, the stitching or the flesh on my legs. I cry out between grit teeth, Jenna trying to pin the wolf back down. "Stop moving, you're only making it worse." Jenna tries to cut the stitching faster now. She gets one rung, 2, 3. "Fuck off me." I look down to see Jenna's blade tip and stuck into the wolf's thigh, even more blood trickling from the fresh wound. "Just be still." I've never heard Jenna so tense. Leo only writhes more, reeling against the restraints with such furiosity that Micah can't undo the lock. "God, just fucking give it to me." The bat stops fiddling with the lock and extends a hand out to Jenna. The fennec turned to look at him. She doesn't move and give him the knife, but she does loosen her grip. Micah doesn't hesitate and plucks it from her with the deftness of a pickpocket. Gingerly, he places the flat of his free hand against Leo's chest, and with the other makes a quick slice between our legs in one motion. The pressure keeping us together is suddenly gone, and I feel I can freely pull my leg away from his. The pain is still immense, but nowhere near as bad. You are so fucking lucky. I look up at the small bat as he moves to unlock Leo's restraint. If I'm lucky, I certainly don't feel like it. Yeah, so are you. The bat lets out a sharp exhale as Leo is freed. Surprisingly, he stands right up, a bit less unsteadily. It's still not entirely clear that he knows where he is, blood still running down the side of his leg. Micah takes a cautious step back, though the dazed wolf doesn't appear to be outwardly hostile towards him. In fact, the two meet each other's gazes for a moment, and Leo sobers slightly. What? He mumbles, braces himself with a large arm against the wall. As Micah shifts his freeing efforts to me, Jenna nimbly steps around the broken glass and makes her way to Brian's fridge. She pulls open the door, tucking out various foodstuffs in plastic bags. Finally, she pulls out several bottles of water and hurries back over. Click. I gasp, holding my throat as I jerk my head forward. Big gulps of air enter my lungs with a refreshing sensation unlike anything I've ever felt. My whole body buzzes with a mixture of pain and relief. Jenna quickly hands me the bottle of water, and I don't hesitate to start chugging it. Well, I tried to, but then I realized the cap is still on. After rectifying my error, I can see clearly the phased look in Jenna's eyes. Her usual cool demeanor gone, and in its place, a deeply unsettled visage that matches how I feel. I mean, who wouldn't be put off by this? I mean, kidnapped, tortured, otherworldly demon thing throwing an entire man out the window and stuff. It seemed to be helpful. She briefly looks off to her side, towards the broken window, then back at me. Chase, Micah takes 2 of her water bottles, giving one to Leo and one to himself. That thing. Jenna nods. Yeah. Was that the thing you mentioned to me on the hike? Her fur bristles, the fox finding the notion incredibly uncomfortable. I don't know what that was. Something the authorities will investigate later, I suppose. So, I wasn't fucking seeing shit? It really was some burnt motherfucker leaping out of that sick fucker's closet? Micah squeezes the bottle, splashing his face with the cold water. Must have been 7 feet tall, at least. A burned man? Is that what all he was? Just another victim of Brian's cruel tortures? Stashed away until now? Don't you think he's still outside, or do you think? Maybe? Jen responds with a hushed tone. I doubt Brian is in much of a threatening state, though. Yeah. We all seem to be fixated on the broken window, though none of us are jumping at the chance to investigate more closely. No one, except for Leo. I glance over and see the big wolf stumbling forward, arms outstretched. His movements are jittery, robotic, his maw hanging open slightly. His eyes still aren't fully open, yet he grasps the windowsill and peers into the darkness. He stays there, motionless. Seconds pass, at least 10, and finally he turns to face us. Never seen that before. Leo mumbles. You see anything? Yeah. Micah stares at him, bug-eyed. Well, what do you fucking see? Red. Micah sets his water bottle down, picking back up his knife and the contents of Brian's pockets. Alright, fuck this. We're getting out of here. If that person we totally all just saw wanted to do us in, he would have done so. I just want to get to car, get some distance from this place, call the cops on a payphone. He furrows his brow at something on the ground before picking it up and shoving it into his shorts. And spend the rest of the night cooped up in one of those 24-hour pancake houses where the waitstaff is always around to watch you. Carl, gotta save him. Oh fuck, we completely forgot about Carl. Though I don't think he might be in too bad of a situation, at least, if the fox and everybody else are completely sane at the moment, but probably not. Leo blurts it out like a spoken belch, his distorted eyes seemingly swimming in their sockets as he looks at no one in particular. The notion swells up like a knot in my stomach. First fear, then guilt. Sorry, need to yawn. Carl had been subjected to this for days. And maybe he knows more about the thing in the closet. That's a job for the police. She says this with an initial reassuring tone, though she falters for a moment. Though those gunshots earlier, we should have heard the police sirens by now, or yeah, we would have. I'm assuming the phone service and internet are still down, just like if you live in Texas. So let's find a fucking car then? We drive to Peyton, rat out those murder-abating fucks I called friends, and never look back. Jenna sighs, closing her eyes for a moment, then nodding. Yeah. That sounds like an idea as any. Let's go. I'm not seeing any car keys here. Pretty sure Duke has his rides. Gotta save Carl. Now. Leo interjects, and Jenna just looks at him, dumbfounded. Oh, go right ahead, Leo. She speaks up, gesturing towards the door flippantly. We'll be in Peyton. You go right ahead and tell us how it goes, Leo blinks slowly, before again slowly meandering to the door. Wait, what? I try to stop him, wincing at the pain in my leg. Oh, Jesus. I manage to grab his fur, and that staggers him enough to stop him for a moment. I wasn't serious. Leo, please, come on. We'll stick together and get this taken care of. Carl. I can feel him pulling away, so I try to think of something to get him to stop. Leo, man, we need you. I need you. I squeeze his paw briefly, just enough to show him I'm here, as his eyes close once again. Like a lost child, he squeezes back. The physical contact feels nice, though after being stitched to him, I'm relieved that he lets go. You two, good to move? I take a tentative step, and Jenna takes me by the arm in case I fall. The pain is dizzying, and I have overwhelming urge to just down a bottle of ibuprofen and crawl into a corner. But I definitely can still walk. I'll manage. Jenna smiles faintly at me. I'll help him. Leo, in all his stupid glory, says nothing as he pulls open the front door and steps outside into the dark. It got dark real quick. Micah steps up beside us, his skinny arms folded tightly over his chest. Okay, urgent care for him, then the pancake house. I think with us going to a new day and the last episode being a bit long, it's a good time to call it. I wonder if that was the van that ran over the albino cat. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this Let's Play. Hopefully we all get out fine and nobody dies, cause that would suck. Except poor Brian, fuck him, but apparently that's not canonical. I guess. I wonder, is Duke in the next game? Let's see, go to that. I mean, that doesn't mean whether or not Duke is dead or not. Oh, look at that. Wait. No. Okay, there's Brian. His last name is Dubois. I have no idea who is Dubois. But guess who Duke's last name is? Tibbets. Man. I mean, I know things have gone downhill for the people of Echo, but having... I mean, it's weird that everybody seemed to be gay, or at least the main characters seemed to be gay, but everybody seemed to get it on. I mean, maybe it's just kind of the expectation back in those days where it's like, well, everybody needs to fuck. You know, keep up appearances. Man, I didn't think... I wouldn't have thought that, you know, Cliff's descendant would be a horrible drug addict. But, yeah. Apparently, Duke also lives to the next game. I'm not sure if that's a spoiler or not, though. Because supposedly they both survived my first route where I was with TJ. But apparently, he's in the second game. Who'd have thunk? Though it doesn't seem as much as Brian, though. So, that's going to be the end of this Let's Play. So, please comment, guys. I like comments. I mean, the thing is, he does seem a bit worse for wear than in Echo. Because in Echo, he seems to have a scar, one lesion, and red eyes. But in Arches, he has like the same scar and like 5 more lesions and red-tipped fingers. I'm not sure if that is a sign of heavy use or just his thing. I wonder if Brian's the descendant of anybody. There was a bear in the smoke room. How do you spell descendant? Well, I guess Brian might not be the descendant of anyone. Just to be like that. But anyways, end of this Let's Play. So comment, guys. I like comment, tell me what you like, dislike, tips, tricks. Otherwise, if you like me YouTube and like see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the rest of it. Go. And please remember to spay and neuter your animals that control the pit population, so it doesn't grow. And if you want to play this game, it's available free on itch.io. But if you want to support people that made this game and are making other games, then you can go to their Patreon, where it's $3 a month. I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Anyways, until next time, let's play. Me. GamerWolfSix of Echo. So thanks, and see ya.